Greetings, one and all, and welcome to this video lesson on vectors. And notice we have this question that is before us, and we have a figure. And notice the figure has four sides. The first side is PS, then we have SR, we have RQ, and we have QP. Right? And so we have this four-sided figure. A four-sided figure is, of course, called a quadrilateral. So we have this quadrilateral here. And notice the question. Notice that I should say we have the following. It says in the figure, which is a quadrilateral, PQRS, PQ is A. So PQ is A bar, and A bar is another way to write a vector. All right. QR is B, so QR is B, and PS is B minus A, and where's that? That's PS. So this entire line, PS, right? This entire vector, right, heading in this direction, PS is B minus A. So the vector PS is B minus A. And E, right, this point E, they're saying E is the midpoint of PS. So that means that PE, right, is half of PS and ES is half of PS. So the question states to express the following, or the instructions are the following. It says, express the following in terms of A and or B, simplifying your answers. So we have to express these things in terms of A or B, A and or B, and then simplify our answers. So let's go ahead and do just that. So let's begin with AI, and AI is EP, right? The vector EP. So what is the vector EP? The vector EP. Notice that, notice that EP, right? EP is the following. EP is here. So this is EP, right? EP is here. And since E is the midpoint, that means that EP is going to be, this portion here, EP is going to be half of PS. Because notice that EP, E is the midpoint, so E is the middle. So this distance from here, from E to P is going to be half of PS. But we have to be careful because because if we had, right, if we had, notice in which direction we're going, and this is very important. Notice the direction that we're going. We are going, because this is E, this is P, so we're going in this direction. Okay? Now, PE, PE, PE is going in, let's use another color, is going in this direction. Okay? So we know that PE for sure is going to be, notice, let's write that down. E, so let's erase that part, so write properly. So E is the midpoint, right? So E is the midpoint of PS, right? So it's the point in the middle of this line PS. So E is the midpoint of PS. So E is the midpoint. So E is the midpoint of PS. So therefore, thus what? Thus, what does that mean? Thus, EP thus EP is going to equal half of PS. Okay, so EP, the line EP, right? This line segment EP right here. Let me highlight it using purple. The line EP right here is going to be half of PS. So the line EP is going to be half of the line segment EP is going to be half of the line segment PS. But here we're considering the vector EP, all right? And so we're looking at the vector EP, and the vector EP is not heading downward, it's actually heading upward, all right? And it's going in the opposite direction of PE. And so that means that instead of EP being just half of PS, instead of the vector EP being half of PS, it's going to be, and some of you probably may understand what I'm saying. Um, what I'm about to say is that it's going to be negative, right? Negative half of PS. Why negative? Because we're heading in the opposite direction. So this is going to be equal to, so let me erase this part. Let me erase this part. So EP, the vector EP, the vector EP is going to be equal to negative a half PS, all right? And so what is PS? What is PS? PS, right here we have it. PS is equal to B minus A. And we could also see in the question, let me make that clear for you. PS, right? PS is actually B minus A. All right, so let's write that down. So this is going to be negative a half right? Negative a half B bar minus A. Okay, and so let me be very clear. And if I said something different up to this point, then I'm going to correct it now. The vector EP is equal to negative a half PS. But the line segment EP, right? The line segment EP without the vector is indeed half of PS. But when we're considering the vector EP, it's going to be negative a half PS because we're going in the opposite direction. Again, let me make that very clear. Again, the line segment EP is indeed half of PS. But the vector EP, right? The vector EP is going in opposite direction of PE. So therefore it must be negative a half of PS, right? And so what is PS? PS is B minus A, just like how we saw there. PS is B minus A. And so we have that our answer is negative a half B minus A. And I say B minus A for short. I'm really supposed to say B bar minus A bar. All right, so let us move to the next question. So we know what EP is. Now, what is SR? What is SR? So SR, the vector SR is, where is that? Notice that SR is, we start at S and we want to end at R. Again, we start at S and we want to end at R. And so in order to get SR, let's go from S to P. Then we're going to go from P to Q. And then we're going to go from Q to R. So let's do that. So this is going to be S to P. right? S to P. Then we're going to go from P to Q. And then we're going to go from Q to R. Q to R. Q to R. Now, what is SP? Now, we want to be very careful. What is SP? Now, PS is B minus A, but SP, let's make that very clear. SP is heading in this direction, okay? And PS is heading in that direction. So SP is going to be negative B minus A, all right? Because it's heading in the opposite direction. So it's going to be negative B minus A, negative B bar minus A bar. Now, what is PQ? Well, PQ is simply A, right? So this is going to be plus A bar. Now, what is QR? QR is simply B or B bar. I say B for short. Now, let us simplify. Let's simplify. And so we're going to take the negative 1 and multiply it by B. So negative 1 multiplied by B bar. So even though you don't see 1 here, think of it as you having an invisible 1 there. And so negative 1 times B bar is going to be equal to negative B bar. And negative 1 times negative A. Notice the negative times a negative is going to give us a positive. This is positive A bar, right? Plus A bar and plus B bar. Now, let us group these together. So you're going to group all the A's. So here we have 2 of the A's, all right? And so it's going to be A plus A, okay? So A bar plus A bar. And then we're going to add, and then we're going to take the B's. So we have a B here, a negative B here, and we have a positive B here. So we have negative B bar plus B bar. And it's going to be equal to A bar plus A bar is going to be equal to 2A, 2A, and negative B plus B. Now, what is negative B plus B? That's basically the same thing as asking negative 1 plus 1. What is negative 1 plus 1? Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So negative B plus B is 0. Okay. So we have 2A plus 0. What is 2A plus 0? Well, 5 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 0 is 0. So 2A plus 0 is going to be, oh my bad, 2A, 2A plus 0, sorry, let's do that again. Or something similar. 5 plus 0 is 5. 6 plus 0 is 6. 7 plus 0 is 7. 8 plus 0 is 8. 9 plus 0 is 9. 10 plus 0 is 10. So therefore 2A plus 0 is going to be equal to 2A. 2A. And so therefore we have completed SR. So SR is 2A. Okay. So now what is ER? right? How are you going to get ER? So let's us erase, and then we're going to determine what ER is. So ER, the vector ER, vector ER, the vector ER. So what is ER? So if we look at the diagram, we know that if we're trying to consider ER, we know we have to start at E, right? And end at R somewhere, and end at R. So we got to start at E and end at R. Now, and how are we going to do it? There's different ways we could do that. We can start from E, go to P, then go to A, and then go to R. So we could do EP plus PQ plus QR, or we can do ES plus SR. Okay, so there are different ways to do this. But we're gonna pause right here, and we're gonna consider it in the next video.